Hi, welcome to One Zen Personal Training. Today I'm just going to talk you briefly through the Glute Max. So your Glute Max is this big muscle here. Okay, it's the powerhouse of the upper leg and the lower back region. It's the bridge, which is the driving force in propulsion when we're moving forwards, when we're picking things up off the floor, and just about doing anything. It's the saviour of our back as well. When the Glute Max doesn't perform correctly, then our running goes out the window. We start utilising the hamstrings more because hamstring tears aren't that common, are they? We start getting lower back pain, so the Glute Max reaches right up here. Okay, so imagine if you took one of the major team players away, you almost have this partly naked spine. Of course, when you pick stuff up, you're going to put your back out. It's only normal. So the reason why I mention Glute Max is because it seems to be poorly understood or poorly trained. And it's all to do with our version of the textbooks, the anatomy textbooks that are out there. And I've just written a few of the things on the board that the Glute Max, as far as in the textbook world, does. So it's saying the Glute Max extends the hip. So extension of the hip would look like that. And if you feel your Glute Max, yes, it does do that. I can feel it, the fibres of the muscle bunching up. Yeah, it's contracting. It laterally rotates the hip. So I'll see if I can show you on camera. So that movement there. If you touch your Glute Max, yeah, I can feel that contracting. Fantastic. And it says it abducts the hip, which is that movement there. And again, if you feel your Glute Max, yeah, to some degree, you can feel it contracting. So why is the textbook wrong? The textbook isn't necessarily wrong. It's correct if you were lying on the floor. If you were lying on the floor doing that movement. But in reality, when we're moving, when we're walking, when we're running, my Glute Max actually does the opposite of these movements to then go into these movements. So what do I mean by that? I mean that when we're running, I'm actually fighting the effects of gravity pulling me straight down. So in order to fully contract a muscle, I must first put it into the exact opposite of the way the textbook suggests. So instead of extension, when I'm running, my leg is in front of me. My hip is what we call a flexed position. So straight away, it's in a flexed position. Laterally rotates the hips. Well, when I'm running, it slightly medially rotates, so it turns slightly inwards. Abducts the hip. Okay? Imagine this is the line of my body. It actually adducts the hip, which means I'm getting closer to the midline of my body. So there's 3 different movements that are becoming exact opposite. So I go into that movement, as I run out, like so, then I go into extension, a lateral rotation, and an abduction. This simple observation may change the way you train. And you may be thinking, why is this even important? It's because we're training the glutes how they're not supposed to be trained. They're supposed to be fighting, helping fight the effects of gravity. So in order to show you the way that we should be training our glutes, if you wanted to isolate your glutes or activate them, I'm going to move the camera down so you can see my foot placement. Okay, so there we go. You can't see my pretty face anymore, that's fine. But if I want to truly activate the glutes, then I would medially rotate, adduct, okay, and flex. So it'd be that position. Down and back. Down and back. And if you don't believe me, try it yourself. You'll feel your hip, or the back side of your hip, on a little stretch. If you do it back and forth, 20 repetitions, I guarantee you're going to feel that in your Glute Max. I guarantee it. Because now we're exciting the muscle how it's supposed to be excited when we're using it in all 3 planes of movement. Remember, we live in a 3-dimensional world. So you can keep doing your bridge position, your isometric bridge position like they do in Pilates. You can keep doing your cable, pulley, whatever that is, who knows. You can keep doing that. You can keep doing your abduction exercises. You can keep doing those. But it's not going to make the slightest bit of difference if you're looking to prevent injury in running, walking, or just generally waken what is in essence a sleeping giant. And I don't mean that in necessarily a mass sense if you're paranoid about getting the size of your backside increased, but I'm talking about powerhouse. I'm talking about the saviour of your back and the key driver in propulsion, in walking and in running. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to call me. My name's Kieran. My email address is kieran@one-zenpt.co.uk. Thank you very much.